Okay, now we're ready to look at the really long passage. I want you to bear with me. I know it's going to be long for you, especially because you don't read the Quran devotionally the way that you read the Bible, but I know it's going to pay off in the end. So as we read the passage, I want you to, in your mind, compare with the story that you know from the Bible. I want you to compare, contrast, ask yourself, okay, what is similar? What is different? And because we're going to talk about it after we're done reading it. And the passage I want you to look at is in Surah 12. Surah 12 is the entire surah, which is about Yusuf, also known as Joseph. Yes, you probably know that name, Joseph, one of the most important characters in the Old Testament. And there's an entire surah dedicated to him in the Quran. And so I'm going to read through it, all the way through it. It's going to take a few minutes. But after we're done, it's up to you if you want to listen to my reading or if you want to read it for yourself. It's up to you. But after we're done reading it, I want us to talk about it. So let's go and read it. These are the symbols or the verses of the perspicuous book. We have sent it down as an Arabic Quran in order that you may learn wisdom. We do relate to you the most beautiful of stories, in that we reveal to you this Quran. Before this, you too were among those who didn't know it. Behold, Joseph said to his father, "Oh, my father, I saw 11 stars, and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrate themselves to me." The father said, "My little son, do not relate your vision to your brothers, lest they conduct a plot against you. For Satan is to man an avowed enemy. Thus will your Lord choose you and teach you the interpretation of stories and perfect his favor to you and to the posterity of Jacob, even as he perfected it to your fathers, Abraham and Isaac aforetime. For Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. Verily, in Joseph and in his brethren are signs for seekers. They said, truly, Joseph and his brother are loved more by our father than we. But we are a goodly body. Really, our father is obviously wandering. You slay Joseph or cast him out to some unknown land, that so the favor of your father may be given to you alone, for you to be righteous after that." Then said one of them, "Do not slay Joseph, but if you must do something, throw him down to the bottom of the well. He will be picked up by some caravan of travelers." They said, "Oh, our father, why don't you trust us with Joseph? Seeing we are indeed his sincere well-wishers, send him with us tomorrow to enjoy himself and play, and we shall take every care of him." Then Jacob said, "Really, it saddens me that you should take him away. I fear lest a wolf should devour him while you do not attend to him." They said, "If the wolf were to devour him while we are a party, then we should indeed have perished ourselves." So they took him away, and they all agreed to throw him down to the bottom of the well. And we put into his heart this message: of a surety, you shall tell them the truth of this their affair while they do not know. Then they came to their father in the early part of the night, weeping. They said, "Oh, our father, we went racing with one another and left Joseph with our things, and the wolf devoured him. But you will never believe us, even though we tell the truth. They stained his shirt with the false blood." He said, "Nay, but your minds have made up a tale with you. Patience is most fitting against that which you assert. It is Allah alone whose help can be sought." Then there came a caravan of travelers. They sent their water carrier, and he let down his bucket. He said, "Ah, there, good news. Here is a young man." So they concealed him as a treasure, but Allah knows well all that they do. The brethren sold him for a miserable price, for a few dirhams counted on. In such low estimation did they hold him. The man in Egypt who bought him said to his wife, "Make his stay among us honorable. Maybe he will bring us much good, or we shall adopt him as a son." Thus we established Joseph in the land that we might teach him the interpretation of stories. And Allah has full power and control over his affairs, but most among mankind do not know it. When Joseph attained his full manhood, we gave him power and knowledge. Thus do we reward those who do right. But she in whose house he was, sought to seduce him for himself. She fastened the doors and said, "Now come you." He said, "Allah forbid. Truly your husband is my Lord. He made my sojourn agreeable. Truly to no good come those who do wrong." And she desired him, and he would have desired her, but that he saw the evidence of his Lord. Thus did we order that we might turn him away from all evil and shameful deeds, for he was one of our servants, sincere and purified. So they both raised each other to the door. She tore his shirt from the back. They both found her Lord near the door. She said, "What is the punishment for one who formed an evil design against your wife, but prison or a grievous chastisement?" He said, "It was she that sought to seduce me from myself." And one of her household saw and bore witness. Oh, if it be that his shirt is rent from the front, then her tale is true, and he is a liar. But if it be that his shirt is torn from the back, then she is the liar, and he is telling the truth. So when he saw his shirt, that it was torn at the back, said, "Behold, it is a snare of you women. Truly mighty is your snare. O Joseph, pass this over. Ask forgiveness for your sin. Truly you have been at fault." Ladies said in the city, "The wife of the great Aziz is seeking to seduce her slave from his true self. Truly he was inspired her with violent love. We see she is evidently going astray." When she heard of their malicious talk, she sent for them and prepared a banquet for them. She gave each of them a knife, and she said to Joseph, "Come out before them." When they saw him, they extolled him, and in their amazement cut their hands and said, "Allah preserve us. No mortal is this. This is none other than a noble angel." She said, "There before you is the man about whom you blamed me. I sought to seduce him for himself, but he firmly saved himself guiltless. And now if he does not my bidding, he shall certainly be cast into prison and be the company of the vilest." He said, "Oh, my Lord, the prison is more to my liking than that which they invite me. Unless you turn away their snare from me, I should feel inclined toward them and join the ranks of the ignorant." So his Lord hearkened to him and turned away from him their snare. Verily, he bears and knows all things. Then it occurred to the man, after they had seen the signs, to imprison him for a time. Now with him there came into the prison 2 young men. Said one of them, "I see myself in a dream pressing wine." Said the other, "I see myself in a dream carrying bread on my head, and birds are eating thereof. Tell us," they said, "the truth and meaning thereof. For we see you are one that does good to all." He said, "Before any food comes to feed either of you, I will surely reveal to you the truth and meaning of this error befalling. That is part of the duty which my Lord has taught me. I have abandoned the ways of a people that do not believe in Allah, and that even deny the hereafter. And I followed the ways of my fathers, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and never could we attribute any partners whatever to Allah. That comes of the grace of Allah to us and to mankind. Yet most men are not grateful. Of my 2 companions of the prison, oh, my 2 companions of the prison, many lords differing among themselves better, or the one God Allah, supreme and irresistible? If not him, you worship nothing but names which you have named, you and your fathers, for which Allah has sent down no authority. The command is for none but Allah. He has commanded that you worship none but him. That is the right religion, but most men do not understand. Oh, my 2 companions of the prison, as to one of you, he will pour out the wine for his Lord to drink. As for the other, he will hang from the cross, and the birds will eat from off his head. And so has been decreed the matter thereof you twain do inquire. And of the 2, To that one whom he considered about to be saved, he said, "Mention me to your Lord." But Satan made him forget to mention him to his Lord, and Joseph lingered in prison a few more years. The king of Egypt said, "I do see in a vision 7 fat kine, whom 7 lean ones devour, and 7 green ears of corn, and 7 others withered. Oh, you chiefs, expound to me my vision, if it be that you can interpret visions." They said, "A confused medley of dreams. We're not skilled in the interpretation of dreams." But the man who had been released, one of the two, and who now bethought him after a space of time, said, "I will tell you the truth of its interpretation. You send me." "Oh, Joseph," he said, "old man of truth, expound to us the dream of 7 fat kine, whom 7 lean ones devour, and of 7 green ears of corn, and 7 others withered, that I may return to the people, and that they may understand." Joseph said, "For 7 years you shall diligently sow as it is your wont. And the harvest that you reap, you shall leave them in the ear, except a little of which you shall eat. Then will come after that period 7 dreadful years, which will devour what you shall have laid by in advance for them, except a little which you have guarded. Then will come after that period a year in which the people will have abundant water, and in which they will press wine and oil." So the king said, "You bring him to me." But when the messenger came to him, Joseph said, "You go back to your lord and ask him, what is the state of mind of the ladies who cut their hands? For my lord is certainly well aware of their snare." The king said to the ladies, "What was your affair when you sought to seduce Joseph for himself?" The ladies said, "Allah preserve us. We do not know any evil against him." Said the Aziz's wife, "Now is the truth manifest. It was I who sought to seduce him for himself. He is indeed of those who are true. This in order that he may know that I have never been false to him in his absence, and that Allah will never guide the snare of the false ones. Nor do I absolve my own self. The soul is certainly prone to evil unless the Lord bestows his mercy. And surely my Lord is oft forgiven, most merciful." So the king said, "Bring him to me. I will take him specially to serve about my own person." Therefore, when he had spoken to him, he said, "Be assured this day you are before our own presence with rank firmly established and fidelity fully proved." Joseph said, "Set me over the storehouses of the land. I will indeed guard them as one that knows." Thus we gave established power to Joseph in the land to take possession therein, as when or where he pleased. We bestow of our mercy on whom we please. We suffer not to be lost the reward of those who do good. But verily, the reward of the hereafter is the best for those who believe and are constant in righteousness. Then came Joseph's brothers. They entered his presence, and he knew them, but they did not know him. And when he had furnished them forth with provisions, he said, "Bring to me a brother you have of the same father as yourselves. Don't you see that I pay out of full measure and that I do provide the best hospitality? Now, if you do not bring him to me, you shall have no measure from me, nor you shall come near me." They said, "We shall certainly seek to get our wish about him from his father. Indeed, we shall do it." And Joseph told his servants to put their stock in trade into their saddlebags, so they should know it only when they returned to their people, in order that they might come back. Now, when they returned to their father, they said, "Oh, our father, no more measure of grain shall we get. So send our brother with us, that we may get our measure, and we will indeed take every care of him." He said, "Shall I trust you with him with any result other than when I trusted you with his brother aforetime? But Allah is the best to take care, and he is the most merciful of those who show mercy." Then when they opened their baggage, they found their stock in trade had been returned to them. They said, "Oh, our father, what more can we desire? This, our stock in trade, has been returned to us. We shall get more food for our family. We shall take care of our brother and add a full camel's load. And this is but a small quantity." Jacob said, Never will I send him with you until you swear a solemn oath to me in Allah's name that you will be sure to bring him back to me unless you are yourselves hemmed in. And when they had sworn the solemn oath, he said, over all that we say, be Allah the witness and guardian. Further, he said, oh, my sons, enter not all by one gate. You enter by different gates. Not that I can profit you anything against Allah. None can command except Allah. On him do I put my trust. Let all that trust put their trust on him. And when they entered in the matter their father had enjoined, it did not profit them in the least against the plan of Allah, but it was but a necessity of Jacob's soul, which he discharged, for he was by our instruction full of knowledge, but most men do not know. Now, when they came into Joseph's presence, he received his brother to stay with him. He said, behold, I am your brother, so do not grieve at anything of their doings. At length, when he had furnished them forth with provisions for them, he put the drinking cup into his brother's saddlebag. Then shouted out a crier, oh, you in the caravan, behold, you are thieves without doubt. They said, turning toward them, what is it that you miss? They said, we missed a great beaker for the king. For him who produces it is the camel load. I will be bound by it. The brother said, by Allah, you know well that we did not come to make mischief in the land. We are no thieves. The Egyptian said, what then shall be the penalty of this, if you are proved to have lied? They said, the penalty should be that he in whose saddlebag it is found should be held to atone for the crime. Thus it is we punish the wrongdoers. So he began the search with the baggage. Before the baggage of his brother, at length he brought it up out of his brother's baggage. Thus did we plan for Joseph. He could not take his brother by the law of the king, except that Allah willed it. We raise to degrees whom we please, but over all endued with knowledge is one, the all-knowing. They said, if he steals, there was a brother of his who stole before. But these things Joseph kept locked in his heart, revealing not the secrets to them. He said, you are the worst situated, and Allah knows best the truth of what you assert. They said, oh, exalted one, behold, he has a father aged and venerable. So take one of us in his place, for we see that you are in doing good. He said, Allah forbid that we take other than him with whom we found our property. Indeed, we should be acting wrongfully. But when they saw no hope of his yielding, they held a conference in private. The leader among them said, don't you know that your father took an oath from you in Allah's name, and how before this you failed in your duty with Joseph? Therefore, I will not leave this land until my father permits me, or Allah commands me, and he is the best to command. You turn back to your father and say, oh, our father, behold, your son committed theft. We bear witness only to what we know, and we could not well guard against the unseen. Ask at the town where we have been and the caravan in which we returned, and you will find that we are indeed telling the truth. Jacob said, nay, but you have yourself contrived a story for you, so patience is most fitting. Maybe Allah will bring them all to me, for he is indeed full of knowledge and wisdom. And he turned away from them and said, how great is my grief for Joseph. And his eyes became white with sorrow, and he fell into silent melancholy. They said, by Allah, never will you cease to remember Joseph until you reach the last extremity of illness, or until you die. He said, I only complain of my distraction and anguish to Allah. I know from Allah that which you do not know. Oh, my sons, you go and inquire about Joseph and his brother, and never give up hope of Allah's soothing mercy. Truly, no one despairs of Allah's soothing mercy except those who have no faith. Then when they came back into Joseph's presence, they said, oh, exalted one, distress has seized us and our family. We have brought but scanty capital, so pay us full measure and treat it as charity to us, for Allah rewards the charitable. He said, Do you know how you deal with Joseph and his brother, not knowing that and what you were doing? They said, are you indeed Joseph? He said, I am Joseph, and this is my brother. Allah has indeed been gracious to us all. Behold, he that is righteous and patient, never will Allah suffer the reward to be lost, or those who do right. They said, by Allah, indeed Allah has preferred you above us, and we certainly have been guilty of sin. He said, this day let no reproach be cast on you. Allah will forgive you, and he is the most merciful of those who show mercy. Go with this, my shirt, cast it over the face of my father. He will come to see clearly. Then you come here to me together with all your family. When the caravan left Egypt, their father said, I do indeed scent the presence of Joseph. Nay, think me not a dotard. They said, by Allah, truly you are in your old wandering mind. Then when the bearer of good news came, he cast a shirt over his face, and he forthwith regained clear sight. He said, did I not say to you, I know from Allah that which you do not know? They said, oh, our father, ask for us forgiveness for our sins, for we were truly at fault. He said, soon will I ask my Lord for forgiveness for you, for he is indeed oft forgiven, most merciful. Then when they entered the presence of Joseph, he provided a home for his parents with himself and said, you enter Egypt all in safety, if it please Allah. And he raised his parents high on the throne, and they fell down in prostration before him. He said, oh, my father, this is the fulfillment of my vision of old. Allah has made it come true. He was indeed good to me when he took me out of prison and brought you out of the desert, even after Satan had sown enmity between me and my brothers. Verily, my Lord understands best the mysteries of all that he plans to do, for verily, he is full of knowledge and wisdom. Oh, my Lord, you have indeed bestowed on me some power and taught me something of the interpretation of dreams and events. O you, creator of the heavens and the earth, you are my protector in this world and in the hereafter. You take my soul as one submitting to your will as a Muslim, and unite with me with the righteous. Such is one of the stories of what happened unseen, which we reveal by inspiration to you. Nor were you with them when they concerted their plans together in the process of weaving their plots. Yet no faith will the greater part of mankind have, however ardently you do desire it. And no reward do you ask of them for this. It is no less than a message for all creatures. All right, the rest of the surah is just kind of a message in relation to what was just said, but the story of Joseph is ended here.